In my previous video, we explored the history of Scandinavian Airlines and charted its path towards the airline we know today. In this episode, we dive into the present state of this airline trying to remain relevant in today's ultra-competitive climate. While they seemed to have been on life support for the last few years, it looks like they aren't going 6 feet under just yet.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a
And good morning guys, welcome to Copenhagen, and I'm coming to you from Copenhagen International Airport. And this chaos you see behind me is the signs of a morning peak hour departure here at this airport. So this morning I'm taking a very short flight across the border from here in Copenhagen to Stockholm in Sweden. So come along with me and see what flying on Scandinavian Airlines is all about. Let's do this.
Everybody just do your thing.
Ordinarily, I do live intros like this at an airport overseas, out in the open air, preferably with the bustling passenger terminal behind me. But the weather today was way below par, and for the life of me, I could not find a shelter outside to do any of this without getting wet. If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan. Born and bred in Singapore, I now call Australia home, and I create heaps of travel and food-related content. This trip sees us set foot in 5 countries over the course of 2.5 weeks. We stop in China for a first glimpse into an often misunderstood country. And then we set off to the UK, where we'd spend most of our time in Scotland as part of a wedding party. And what an eventful week that was. We then make our way towards Scandinavia, stopping in Denmark, and I pay homage to Sweden because every person alive needs to visit the ABBA Museum and know that the meatballs you have in IKEA taste nothing like the ones in Sweden. We make a brief stop in Finland before heading back to the UK for our extremely long flight back home. This travel series will be filled with flight reports, destination vlogs, and a train journey thrown in for good measure. And these videos will be linked in the description as and when they're published. So make sure you hit the subscribe and the bell icon so you won't miss the next episode coming up. Giving me a like is a good way to support my channel. So here's the thanks because it's very much appreciated. Welcome to Copenhagen's Lufthavn Kastrup. It is Scandinavia's busiest airport, serving some 30 million passengers in 2019. The airport was inaugurated in April 1925, making it one of the oldest civilian airports in the world. This airport is unique in Scandinavia because majority of the passengers here are getting on international flights. Personally, I think this terminal is one of the nicest I've ever been to, with that warm-looking earthy tones, pretty much how I would envision the airport to look like if IKEA did the interior design. But my focus today isn't on the airport, but really we're here to address the present state of Scandinavian Airlines, which was once the pride and joy of Scandinavia. But now, it's just another old-school legacy airline in Europe struggling to stay alive. Let's do a quick recap into the origins of SAS. It was founded in 1946 when 3 airlines in different countries came together as a consortium. Sweden's Svensk Interkontinental Lufttrafik, Norway's Det Norske Luftfartsselskab, and Denmark's Det Danske Luftfartsselskab. Collectively, these carriers were eventually merged in 1951 to formally create SAS, Scandinavian Airlines System. They plodded along for decades under the heavily regulated skies of Scandinavia with very little competition, allowing them to be profitable enough to own a chain of hotels all around the world. Sweden, Denmark, and Norway have all been members of the European Union, joining this collective union in various times during the decades. Before EU was formally created in the 90s, this collective bunch of countries around Europe pushed to deregulate the airline industry as one entity. While the ultimate goal was to increase competition, leading to lower airfares, it also meant state-owned airlines like SAS began to lose money because their business model wasn't made to handle the onslaught with their top-heavy and very expensive mode of operations. SAS is a very unique airline. Because it is the flag carrier of 3 countries, it operates 3 hubs spread out over the airports of Gardermoen and Oslo, Arlanda and Stockholm, and Kastrup where we are in Copenhagen. This airport presently does the heavy lifting, shouldering the bulk of the airline's operational volume, with the remainder spread out between the other 2. Copenhagen to Stockholm is currently Kastrup's 3rd busiest flight route, with up to 22 daily flights flown by 2 airlines. As you saw from the earlier intro, the weather this morning was wreaking havoc around the airport. This storm front also extended all the way up north into Sweden, past Stockholm. Therefore, it was no surprise when our chariot for this morning's flight pulled into the gate some 45 minutes late from Arlanda Airport in Stockholm. The current fleet of Airbus A320neos are operated by a subsidiary company, SAS Connect. This one example here is an Irish-registered Sierra India X-ray, which first flew in February 2023, making her just over 1.5 years old at the time of writing. As far as airline liveries go, I think SAS is one of the smartest looking out there. It reflects the stylish simplicity of the Scandinavian design language, speaking volumes with very little. The recent decade has not been kind to SAS. It has been marked by intense cost-cutting measures in an attempt to stem losses. This is despite experiencing an upward trend in passenger traffic and revenue increases. Pre-tax losses of over 5 billion Swedish kronor was reported in the last financial year. So the cost reduction exercise still has a long way to go. Airlines all over the world went into the red during the COVID-19 pandemic. SAS certainly wasn't alone in that regard. While most airlines sought bankruptcy protection during that period, SAS did not. Instead, it continued to take on more debt from the state until it became unsustainable. The airline's struggle to contain its operational costs ballooning out of control was once again brought to the forefront. With creditors knocking at their door, the airline finally filed for bankruptcy protection in the summer of 2022, after its plans for a restructure was approved by a US bankruptcy court. A consortium of bidders, which includes the Danish government, will collectively pump some $1.2 billion into the airline to provide one last lifeline. And off we went, thundering off into the stormy skies over Kastrup, bound for Arlanda. This flight trajectory would take us directly towards our destination airport. Flying past the city of Stockholm on arrival, we would turn left on final approach to land in the opposite direction. Completing this flight in 52 minutes, clocking a total flight distance of just over 550 kilometers. One of my favorite car brands is Volvo. Because if you've sat in models manufactured after 2016, their front seats come with these cute little Swedish flags on the side. Guess what? SAS does the same with their seats, which gives these Recaro recliners that little bit more stylish flair, I think. This is a perfect segue into how an effective premium airline SAS aims to be going forward. But the cost of doing so is the airline's biggest downfall. To counter this, subsidiaries outside Scandinavia were created in 2017, with bases set up in London Heathrow and Malaga in Spain. The intention was to operate these flights crewed by staff who were paid lower than their Scandinavian counterparts. SAS also made it clear they did not intend to employ its own staff for this venture, but instead were handled by an external company. These different subsidiaries, SAS Ireland, SAS Link, and SAS Connect, have been merged into a single entity at the time of writing, simply known as SAS Connect from September 2021. Lower wages has been the key driving factor for SAS Connect, as they use this method in an effort to trim their very heavy legacy cost structure, in hopes to make the airline more competitive. All this was well because this setup was done outside of Scandinavia, until SAS made the decision to set up a base in Copenhagen with one of these subsidiaries. Pilot and flight attendant unions would now have to be involved in negotiating a wage package agreeable to both sides, which they have since done. It's no surprise legacy-level pay structure was no longer on the cards. As this video goes to air, we are inching into autumn in the Northern Hemisphere. SAS would also, at this time, be emerging from their bankruptcy protection. The eventual plan is for the subsidiary company SAS Connect to fully operate domestic and regional European flights using the current narrow-body fleet, which includes the Airbus A320 family, the CRJs, and Embraer aircraft types. Long-haul operations would be the only section of the company still under the legacy umbrella, crewed by staff members employed directly by the airline. The wide-body fleet presently consists of 8 Airbus A330s and 4 Airbus A350s, at least for now. However, in the long run, SAS will plan to consolidate their long-haul fleet into a single type, and the logical choice would be either expanding the A350 fleet or adopting the Airbus A330neo. So watch this space to see where SAS takes their long-haul plans into the future. As far as long-haul route development goes, there are no plans to expand their Asian operations, as the closure of Russian airspace continue to curtail any feasible destination launches. So we'll make do with Shanghai Pudong and Tokyo Haneda as the two remaining destinations for the foreseeable future. I am still hopeful that the Bangkok route will eventually be operated all year round, not just in the northern winter. There is too much historical baggage there to let this go to waste. Any further long-haul expansion will very likely be transatlantic operations between Scandinavia and the US. As part of the consortium of bidders helping to take SAS out of the hole they're in is the Air France-KLM Group. They have taken a 19.9% stake in SAS. There is an option to increase this stake sometime in 2026, so it remains to be seen what sort of changes in operational dynamics this would have. For a start, SAS will leave Star Alliance after almost 30 years. From September 1, 2024, SAS will enter SkyTeam, to align their operations together with Air France and KLM. This shift is extremely monumental, bearing in mind SAS was one of the 5 founding members of Star Alliance. It's interesting to note that over time, many members of that alliance are no longer around, either because of mergers or the airlines have simply gone out of business. At the end of the day, we cannot deny the iconic nature of Scandinavian airline system, especially within the Nordic psyche. As Europe's 10th largest airline, this icon surely has a work cut out for her. And their journey has certainly been an interesting one. From being a trailblazer in its early years, to becoming some of the biggest corporate basket cases the airline industry has ever seen. As SAS continues to trim its costs, pushback from unions are expected. And they have unions in 3 countries to contend with. So you could say this old-school legacy airline has their industrial relation challenges multiplied by 3. However, for an icon to survive, it has to evolve. And with this lifeline, let's hope the evolution of Scandinavian airlines will trend towards bluer skies. For now, it's time to prepare for our arrival into Stockholm Arlanda Flygplats.
Well guys, välkommen to Stockholm. Welcome to Stockholm, Sweden. And that was my flights with Scandinavian Airlines completed. This was definitely a walk down memory lane, at least for me it was. Pretty excellent flights, I think. The flight attendants were friendly. Planes were delayed though, but I mean, it's because of the weather today. All the flights are delayed, so not really their fault. So I'm going to be spending a couple of days here in Stockholm in Sweden. So now I'm just going to try and figure out the way downtown to catch the train to the hotel. So anyway, I've chucked details of my Instagram on your screen right now. So hit me up there, chuck me a follow, so you can see where am I traveling to in real time. Of course, more importantly, do not forget to hit the subscribe and bell notification icon. And I will talk to you and I'll see you for the next video. Bye.